I'm Carl.
I'm Dave.
And this is Beast Made Reviews.
Hey guys, Carl with Beast Made Reviews. Today I wanted to tell you about a company called Gransfors Bruks, or Gransfors Bruks, depending on where you see it. Gransfors Bruks is a Swedish axe making company. And what makes them so special is that each one is forged by a single craftsman. These aren't things that you're going to find someplace like Sears. However, you will be able to find these online. I know that LL Bean carries them. They're very, very hard to come by in person in a store somewhere. And I think that a lot of these are made to order because it took me quite a while to get mine. And the one I got is the Wildlife Hatchet. And the reason I got a hatchet is because I use a log splitter for most of my splitting. It's very rare that I actually use a maul. I will use a hatchet, however, to either delimb something, make kindling. It's kind of your little Swiss Army knife of woodworking. So I decided to go ahead and get this one. Now this replaced one that I got at Home Depot, which was an Estwing, another American-made company. It was a fantastic little hatchet, and I've used it forever. It was just starting to show its wear. I had hit a few things with it, a couple nails, nasty stones, and they get some dings in them, and I just didn't take the time to bring it back. I really wanted to try this company. What makes them so special is that, like I mentioned before, a single craftsman actually takes these axes from being a billet of steel and forges them by hand and fits them to the handle. And the interesting thing about Gransfors Bruks is that they actually have a very environmentally conscious business model. What they don't want to do is put a bunch of chemicals into their stuff. They feel that they have a responsibility to the environment, and so they won't paint anything. They'll use, I believe, what's boiled linseed oil to finish their handle. And that's about it. Everything is there for you to see. All of the forging marks, the hammer marks, nothing is painted over. Where they have sharpened it and honed it is still left raw. It's just beautiful in that very rustic, raw, handmade way that you just can't get with something that comes out of a factory that's made by stamping a piece of steel. Out of the box, it came razor sharp, sharp enough to shave with, I would say. This is maybe a little sharper than you might need to cut off a couple of branches and make some kindling, but it's nice to have it that sharp. And I've never had my axes this sharp as my pocket knives. And I will say that I really do like it, especially with the more fine stuff. I will usually cut down to about match size kindling before I start my fire. And this thing, it just makes short work of it. Another cool thing about the design of this is that you could choke up really high on the handle to give yourself a lot of control. So the length of the axe handle is behind you, and you have basically that axe head in your hand, and you can do a lot of intricate work with it if you wanted to. Another cool little detail that I like is that stamped on the axe head is the initials of the person who made it. So they have, I think, 12 or 13 guys who are there and they're making these axes, and stamped on the head is that maker's initials. And each one has a little bit of a different style. Sure, they follow the same form and kind of the same idea, but each one, I'm sure, has a slightly different way of doing it, and they take such pride in their work that they stamp it and sign their name basically by putting their initials on the axe head. It makes me wonder though, how long before these things are really gone? The knowledge that they have to forge steel and make a handmade axe, that is not easy to come by, and it's only passed down and learned through an apprenticeship. And those people are becoming few and far between. So this is something that you may not be able to get in the future if this craft is lost. Again, this is a Swedish company. I kind of wish that there was something like this in America, and maybe there is, but I just don't know about it. I know that the Swedish steel has been sought after for a long time for its strength and durability. I'm not sure why. I don't know much about forging or steel in general, but for some reason, that's where some great steel comes from. The axe is expensive. You're paying for that knowledge and craftsmanship, and the fact that it's handmade. It's about $125. And depending on where you get it, you may find it a little bit less, a little bit more, but around about there. And it comes with a book called The Axe Book, which is a really nicely put together little pamphlet, which kind of goes through their philosophy, the way they make things, their pride, and a description of all the axes that they make and the way that they've been designed for specific tasks. So they have ones that are meant for felling a big tree, American style axes, small axes, wood carving axes, ones that you can make shingles with, and all sorts of different ones that I didn't even know existed. It's really, really cool, and it would make you almost want to collect these things because they are individual. The people who make them aren't going to be making them forever. They're not immortal. You're going to have something that is truly one of a kind. In a way, it seems kind of silly because after all, it is a tool. It's gonna get beaten. You're gonna slam this thing through wood. and you know you're gonna hit knots, and it is gonna get dinged up, and you know the handle's gonna get dirty, and that's kind of what makes it cool though. You know, it comes out of the box and it's perfectly formed, and it's honed, and it's ready to go, and it's oiled, and it's just a beautiful piece, and you want to put it on your wall. But that's not what it's meant for. It's a tool. So when you bring it out and you get this thing dirty and it starts picking up those little characteristics of the way you used it, those are the kind of things that I like, especially when I get tools from my grandfather or something and you can see little marks and you just wonder what the story is behind that. That's what I hope this will be. Someday I'll pass this down and it doesn't just get overlooked as another simple little hatchet and somebody throws it away. This is an old world way of making things that's still available today, and as we know, that's becoming very, very hard to find. The size of this is perfect for backpacking. It comes with a nice little leather sheath that goes over the sharp part of the axe. I'm not sure, there's probably a name for that, but it keeps it protected. And this is the ideal size if you want to throw it in your backpack. If you're gonna go hiking for the weekend and you need something to process wood, this is the perfect size. Or for around the yard when you're knocking down trees and you're doing the smaller work, this is ideal. I love this product. I can't wait to get another one because they're just so cool and so unique. So if you want to get one for yourself, I will leave a link in the description for the best price that I could find for this. Be careful because I think there are imitators. They have such a unique thing going on, and the profit margin for somebody who is banging these things out at a subpar quality level would be huge. So be careful, make sure that you are getting a Gransfors Bruks product. But in my opinion, this really just encompasses everything we're trying to do here at Beast Made Reviews. It's made well, it's made to be passed down, it's not something that's disposable, but it's also meant to be used. And I don't really know anything else you could ask from a tool. Thank you very much for watching. I am Carl from Beast Made Reviews. We'll see you next time.